in it, nothing happens. It is just a cup of water. Do you understand? And that's an important thing. So if I want love in my life, in my external environment, I must put it out there regardless of any and everything that happens. And the truth is when I start walking that path, what will happen is God will start to test us. Because I must be able to find love within myself to keep putting love out there, even if everyone, treats that love as if it's nothing. It is not nothing to me within me. Do you sort of understand? That is the importance. So when we're going through life, when we're trying to be, have and do whatever we want in life, it is simply a process of me doing it, of me becoming it. If I want love in my life, I must become love within myself. If I want success in my life, I must become success within myself. And what that means is to become success within myself, I must recognize my successes. Do you sort of understand? It doesn't matter if there's external validation or not. If I feel like I have succeeded, I have succeeded, regardless of what anyone else says. So if we think about it like this, if I was trying to lose weight and my goal was to lose 10 kilos a week and I only lost 5 kilos, have I failed? No, I have succeeded. Even if I didn't reach the full goal, I still succeeded because I lost weight. Do you sort of understand? That's the important thing. So this is the path that we are all on in life. This is what life is all about, is this understanding that no matter what happens to me, I am always the one who determines how it is viewed by me. Do you sort of understand? So it's very important, because when we understand this, we just understand that there is nothing external to me. So anything that I want in life, I can have within myself. Now, this isn't saying if I want a multi-million-dollar mansion, I just believe within myself I have a multi-million-dollar mansion. No, that's fucking stupid. Why do I want a multi-million-dollar mansion? So I can hold it over other people? Like, that's not real. That's the bullshit illusion of society. All these people are trying to manifest millions of dollars. They're trying to manifest dream cars. They're trying to manifest dream houses. Trying to manifest dream partners. It's all just bullshit. People are people. Life is life. We can become attached and overly attached to our external environment, to society. But the problem with that is when I become attached to my external environment, to the material in life, I detach from the spiritual. When I attach myself to the spiritual in life, by definition, I detach from the material. Walking the path is walking both in the spiritual and in the material. Do you sort of understand? But when I am seeking in my life, I must know, what am I seeking? What means something to me in life? Do you sort of understand? For me, it's understanding. It's knowledge. It's inherent internal knowing. That is what I've always sought, so that I may die at peace, so that I may understand the truth of life. That this life is just simply like another aspect of life. When I die, my consciousness shifts into another dimension. Which dimension? The energetic dimension. And that's an important thing, because there are multiple and many layers of dimensions all around us. And we can think about it in terms of the way science sees dimension as being higher and higher forms, or we can see it in the way that spirituality sees dimensions, in understanding that there are different states of matter, that there are different states within the universe. Right now, around me, there is energy everywhere. From the sun, do you sort of get it? From the wind, from the trees, like everywhere there is energy. And that energy is another dimension in life. I cannot see it. I can sometimes feel it, but I do not feel the energy. I feel it as a sensation of heat, or I feel it as the breeze moving, the kinetic force. Do you sort of understand? It's not that I feel it as energy, but when I die, I become a part of that energy. So to understand this is just to understand that in any moment in life, wherever I am, wherever I am in life, like I am connected to everything in the universe. And it is this practice that our ancestors understood at a high level, the spiritual side of it, not the material side of it, of having material gains, of having material things, of having carnal instincts and following my carnal instincts and this and that. Do you know what I mean? It's about understanding my connection to the trees, my connection to the earth, to the grass, my connection to the water, my connection to the wind. What is my connection to the water? I am 80% water. Therefore, I am always connected to the water because the water is me and I am it. I am connected to the earth because I am of the earth. Do you sort of understand? Like I am connected to the trees because the trees are a form of consciousness and I am a form of consciousness. Like, do you sort of understand? It's in understanding this that we're able to access the spiritual aspect of life. We're able to access all of those other things that are not just my ego. And that's important because when I let go to my ego, I am able to observe life for what it is. I do not see a bird and think, what a stupid bird. It's just a bird. No, I see a bird and I think that is a representation of God. Do you sort of understand? Like every form of consciousness, and everything is a form of consciousness. Like this table that I sit at is a form of consciousness. For if there was no consciousness in the particles, how do they form the wood that I see? Do you understand? How do they form the structures that I see? If there was no consciousness, the molecules would just dissipate. Why are they stuck together? Do you sort of understand? And many people will try and argue the material aspect of it, that the tree, and it's a part of the tree, and blah, 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 blah. But realistically, this table is made of the exact same materials and the exact same particles and the exact same strings that I am made of. Do you understand? I am no different from the blade of grass on the ground than I am from a tree, than I am from you or me. Do you sort of understand? There is no difference. And it's in understanding this that we're able to open out our heart to being able to understand when I walk on grass, I'm not just walking on an inanimate object. When I sit at a table, I'm not just sitting at an inanimate object. Do you sort of understand? This table was created through the conscious work of someone. This table was created through the conscious process of, you know, of metals being formed, of trees being formed, of, you know, different resources. Do you sort of understand? Like, that's the important thing, because when we understand this and when we're able to sort of open ourselves up and get this, not majesty, but this reverence for everything, be it living, be it non-living, be it animated or being it inanimated. Do you sort of understand? Everything you see in life, no matter what it is a representation of God, of the universe. These fences around me were created by God through someone's mind. They did not just appear out of nowhere. Someone consciously thought how to create them, and then they consciously put in the effort to create them. Therefore, their creation is based out of consciousness. Without consciousness, the creation would never have happened. Do you sort of understand? And that's the thing. When we can understand this aspect of life, we are able to see life for what it is. A beautiful, aspect of the divine, a beautiful aspect of life. The birds fly around, the trees grow, the wind blows. You sort of get it? Like the grass grows. Like all of these things are just representations of life itself, of creation and destruction. Without destruction, there cannot be creation. Without creation, there cannot be destruction. Without suffering, we cannot know joy. Without joy, we do not understand suffering. Without love, we cannot know connection. Without connection, we cannot know love. Do you sort of understand? Like, it is always going to be a balance between what we see as good and what we see as bad. What we see as positive and what we see as negative. Without positive and negative charges, the particles in my body, the atoms, would not have the electrons. Like, I would not be me without positive and negative energy. Too much positive energy and my cells would dissipate. Too much negative energy and my cells would dissipate because the bonds would be broken. Do you sort of understand? It's the balance between. It's not to say positive is better than negative. So without the good days, I do not understand the bad days. Without the bad days, I do not have gratitude for the good days. Do you sort of understand? Like, it's just these contrasts, because without the background behind me, you would not see me. If I was the exact same color as the background behind me, I would blend with it. There would be no depth to me. Do you sort of understand? Like, without the clouds in the sky, I do not see the sky. Do you know what I mean? Like, it changes because now there is contrast in the sky. Do you know what I mean? Like, when we ever look up on a sunny day and there's not a cloud in the sky, it's beautiful, but it's also, it's missing something. That contrast between light and dark. Do you know what I mean? We see clouds as being negative because they're associated to rain and storms and bad weather. We see sunny days as being positive because they're absent of what we consider as being negative. Like, do you sort of understand? So if I'm going through life always looking to avoid the negative and only ever seeking the positive, I have a skewed view of the positive. Like, do you understand? I never truly understand what the positive is because it just is. So when we find ourselves doing this in life, we are creating a hollow, empty life. Because, for example, if there is no conflict in a relationship, that relationship becomes mundane. And it's not to say that, you know, negative conflict is what we're seeking. No, it's the conflict between who am I and who are you. Do you sort of understand? That is how we understand ourselves better. The contrast between me and you allows me to see me differently, allows me to understand myself at a deeper level. If you were exactly the same as me, I would never see who I am. I would only have a false sense of my identity of self. It becomes empty. Have you ever been in a relationship where it was empty? where there was no conflict, where there was no opposition, where it was just bland. Sort of like when we cook dinner and our dinner is absent of seasoning. It is just bland. That is it. Do you sort of understand? In our life, we always seek the excitement of different. Yet, in our life, we don't want anything but what we want. Do you sort of understand? It creates a hollow life. When I only want what I want, and I only want to get what I want to get, I am never going to truly experience life, because I'm never going to experience anything outside of myself in terms of anything new. And that's the important thing, is it's that sense of experiencing new that give us passion in life, that light our lives up, that give our lives meaning. Because every aspect of my body, every aspect of this existence is to experience. It is not to work a job and to have a family and to reproduce for the sake of reproducing. Do you sort of understand? This life is meaningless unless we give meaning to it, unless we find meaning within it. And that's an important thing, because to find meaning within life, we must open ourselves up to life and find reverence within life. Because how can anything that means nothing to me hold reverence within me? If I see the grass as just being an inanimate object, it looks nice, but it doesn't mean anything to me. If I see grass as being an aspect of life, a different form of life, it now holds different reverence to me, because it is of me. I can connect with it now. And that's an important thing, because I can only connect with what I am. So to connect with life, I must understand I am life. Otherwise, I will always be absent of life. Do you understand? It's a very funny thing, because you'll never get the answers. In terms of outside of yourself, you will never know the truth. You will only ever know the truth that you understand within yourself. And the funny thing is that society and life force us to believe that the external truth is the only truth and the internal truth is an illusion by your mind. Why is this so? It is not. That's the thing. The internal truth is the only truth you'll truly know, because it's the only truth you'll ever experience. The external truth will always be an unknown, because you have no ability to experience it. Your ego may pretend like it experiences it, but it does not. The ego will never get you where you want in life. The ego is a tool of life. And that's a funny thing, because we need the ego. The ego helps us communicate. The ego helps us to understand, to comprehend, to calculate. But when we treat the ego as if it is us, as if it is our soul, as if it is our consciousness, that is where we fall into the illusion of life, to the illusion of society. That I am only this mind, I am only this body, I am only this life experience. Nothing more, nothing less. Do you sort of understand? I can experience anything that I want in life, anywhere. Anything I ever want to experience, all I must do is close my eyes and I can experience it. Do you sort of understand? If I want to talk to God, all I must do is close my eyes and start talking. If I feel worse, okay. If I feel better, okay. The funny thing is that every time that I close my eyes and talk to God and I listen, He tells me exactly what I want to know. And when I say He, God is a representation of me, just like God is a representation of you. whoever you see God as is God to you, just like whoever I see God as is God to me. But for me to connect to God, it must be a He to me. Because how do I connect with a female God? I do not understand. Do you sort of understand? It's not to say that God is a man, but within my experience, that is the only way I can understand. Do you understand? It doesn't matter if I'm right or if I'm wrong. If I experience this as being true, it becomes true to me. Alright, well, I hope you enjoyed this one, and I'll talk to you on the next one. Thanks so much. Bye.